This is my first Get Real Single Dad Diary, and my topic's going to be about the first signs of the breakup and what it meant to me. I think when I look back at the situation of my marriage falling apart, there's this big sign that seems to come up all the time when I look back on it. And I went through some of my journals and wrote down a lot of pages of thoughts, fears, emotions, everything that was going on for me. And I think one of the things that came up the most was like, what happened? The comment of what happened? What happened? It's like, I'm reading it now, I look back at it and I go, wow, there was definitely a time where I felt lost, maybe numb to the world, and that simple statement of what happened seems to keep coming up when I looked at the journal. And it was a great opportunity to reflect on that person that went through that what happened moment and realize there was a lot of things that were leading up to the moment of the breakup. And I think it's important to share with all of you that feeling of shock and unknown and uncertainty is very normal. I mean, I'm looking back at my notes and seeing that when the breakup happens, you first are shocked and you don't know what happened. And that feeling of lost and you don't know who to tell, and I think it was like keeping it a secret and how do I explain things to the children, and all these things seem to overwhelm us, so we just get to go numb. And I look back at that and I can see through my journals that I spent quite a bit of time wondering what had happened. But I will tell you the steps that I took I think were very important in getting me back on track. And one of the reasons I look towards the future of Single Dad and one of the Single Dad features called SingleDad Toolbox is we have some amazing people that are out there that can help us find our way back. And on our site we have Dr. Deb, who is a family counselor and deals with divorce issues very well. And I had over 2.5 years ago, when I went through my breakup, I had my doctor, Dr. E, great guy, I mean, just a wonderful guy. He's been in my life for over 10 years, and I think that most of us aren't afraid to ask for help and get professional advice, and that was one of the best things I could have done in reflecting on the what happened moment. Using a therapist is definitely a very valuable tool, and most insurance companies do cover therapy with a copay. And I utilized Dr. E to get through some very challenging times and setting those priorities on first finding your balance, knowing how to communicate to your children of what's going on, and staying balanced, especially during the hard times. And the what happened moment would be, okay, planning a conversation with the family. What do you tell your children? And I made sure that I was being accountable to the signs of the breakup. And that was one of the things I also looked back on the journal. And being accountable is not an always easy thing because there's drama, a lot of drama involved in breakups. I mean, I rarely hear of any divorce that goes very well and smoothly and without any hiccups. And I look back at my breakup and I see definitely there were plenty of signs of the relationship breaking apart. And there were plenty of opportunities, of course, of mending things back together. But for whatever reason, I think the key to giving the proper advice is you can't change yesterday. You can only be present today and plan for tomorrow. And being present today is a key because you cannot change yesterday. And that was one of the things I learned the most about going through a divorce is it's happened. Now what? It's not what happened. Now what? It's happened. Now what? So I took some inventory and I took my share of responsibility and did some great counseling with my therapist, got some great coaching on how to communicate to the kids, something they did not do wrong, and there's nothing they could do to change the outcome, and making sure that they were clear on what's going to happen to them. I think it's a valuable tip that I learned. And one of the more helpful things was I also read a lot. I kept myself occupied Because during that transition, the get real message for me is when you're going through a divorce, you really find a lot of idle time in your mind, in your thoughts, and your fears are about being alone and feeling lonely. And the reality of what I went through, or at least what I can share with everybody, is you can always feel lonely, but you're never alone. You're never really alone. I mean, you're only a phone call away, an email away from speaking to somebody who cares and who's listening. And keeping a network of those friends is very valuable. I can tell you, it saved me a lot of heartache having those resources available. And so my Get Real Single Dad Diary today is about the what happened moment and the stages of it. Feeling lost, numb to the world. I began to read a lot, and I got help. I used therapists to help me get through the balance and finding my balance again. It's a very valuable tool. Realizing that there were signs everywhere and taking accountability. That was a challenge too. So once I took that inventory and accountability, I found peace. I found peace with being alone and realizing I'm never alone. I found peace in feeling lonely and knowing that allowing myself to feel lonely was actually it was a gift. So that is my Single Dad Get Real Diary of the week. Hope you enjoy it.